Hello, and welcome to the Penguins Collective Podcast. My name is Louie.
My name is Josh,
Oh, and we're two brothers who love to talk about hockey.
especially the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, even though our music intro is now soothing and relaxing and kind of gives a lullaby vibe, that was anything but tonight's game against the Boston Bruins. The Penguins defeat the Boston Bruins 6-5 in a crazy game. Mainly the first period, but thank you for joining the podcast tonight. We already have some chat in here. Hello, Jackson. Hello, William. Hello, Angry Boot. Thank you guys so much. We'll get to your comments in a second. Josh, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on tonight's game?
What a game. First of all, I just want to acknowledge, I think there's like a yellow shade. Do you see this? Like it kind of
On
looks
yours?
it looks foggy. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but tonight's game was wild. To
Crazy.
be honest, after the first two goals, I thought we were done. I thought it was going to be a repeat of Tuesday against the Capitals, and I kind of was just like, oh well, we're going to pull Nedeljkovic and put in Jari, and it's just the spiral starts in my head. But things started kicking into gear for us, and then for the whole team, and then for the entire Boston Bruins as well. Unreal game. Unreal. I'm not even going to go through all the goals because I forget the order in which they all occurred, because it was unreal, the type of game, what is Angry Boo saying?
Angry Boo is saying the game had Josh smoking cigarettes in front of TV. That's why there's yellow tint all over your camera.
It's possible. It's possible.
Smoking so many darts, Josh.
Sorry, that got me distracted. I'll hide the chat for a second. Okay. So it's just a wild game, and love to see that we're able to come out with the win, even though we let Boston back into it. We're up 5-2. Yeah. They came all the way back, tied at 5-5, and then the GOAT was able to finish it out with the power play goal, 6-5, bringing us home with the win. But I understand Nedeljkovic struggled tonight. I understand Gensel and Crosby looked amazing per usual.
Yeah.
But did you see the guy that I thought was the player of the game tonight?
Josh, if you're talking about Drew O'Connor.
Yes.
Drew O'Connor was absolutely
I'm so glad you guessed that right. So glad.
Because if it wasn't for Crosby scoring that power play goal, he would be like the number one guy. He was flying. He was on the penalty kill. He was so important. Getting those goals, chasing down pucks, his back checking, his forechecking.
Oh my God.
Everything. He looked like a line one player tonight. And if we trade Jake Gensel, everyone, guess where O'Connor's going? Straight to the first line. We'll get into that a little bit more later today. But holy cow, Drew O'Connor looked absolutely phenomenal tonight. And rightfully so. I mean, he's due. He was exactly where Angry Boot doesn't like that. He doesn't like that kind of blasphemy. But Drew O'Connor is due. I mean, last year we were waiting for him to kind of be the next Gensel almost, where it's like, okay, he comes up from Wilkes-Barre. He starts producing quickly. Now he should be on the first line with Sid, right? Like that's what we were waiting for last year. Never happened just because we were horrible last year. And now this year, he's kind of coming into his own game. And tonight was the night that he displayed it. On prime time, he made it look like he was a core player for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I love to see it. So, Yeah.
It was fantastic. It was great to see him play well. Great to see Carter get on the board.
Big Jeff Carter, Josh.
Yeah,
Big Jeff Carter.
Excuse me.
Put some
Excuse me.
respect on that name.
And
what's up, NES?
Stringing up a whole bunch of good games too. Like it's not like last year where it was just like, flash in a pan, good game, and then like you don't hear about him for, a month or two. Like, I mean, we're talking like six solid games here in a row
that's true.
by Jeff Carter. True. And Letang putting up some nice points, but struggled a little bit defensively.
A little bit. More than a little bit.
And then Graves got a goal. I mean, everyone.
That was Graves' only redeeming quality of tonight. I mean, every defenseman played terrible tonight. I want to make that very Carlson to Pettersson. Everyone was playing bad. Okay. And then Graves gets the most luckiest bounce and he gets on the board. And it's just one of those things where it's kind of like when Dumoulin scores, like it was last year and the year before, you're kind of like, all right, like now be a better defenseman, So I wasn't like, I was thrilled that we got a goal because we needed it because we were down. But it was, it was Graves, and Graves has been horrible. So it's just pretty whatever. Angry Boot comes in saying, I feel like Letang played pretty well in the third. Absolutely. I think he did as well. Latter
turned it around a little bit. Yeah.
Let's be clear about this, okay? He was playing good at the end of the third. Like I would say halfway to the end. All right. Just because in the beginning of the third, it looked like we weren't showing up. They were just skating into the zone. They were just throwing pucks on net. We looked silly. And frankly, they made Nedeljkovic look silly a lot tonight.
They did.
But yes, and in the end, to hold off that win, I think, Sid looked amazing.
At the end of the day, that's all that matters. At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
What's the Fast and Furious quote, Josh?
I actually don't know.
Oh, my gosh. Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile.
I was going to say it's all about family. But
it is. It also is about family because at the end of that game, we played like a family, right?
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, I tied that in for you.
Yeah, that was very nice.
100%. 100%. Defense played better in the last of the third period. And then can I just say one thing about Sidney Crosby, because we always gush over Sidney Crosby because he's Sidney Crosby. 3 points tonight, played absolutely out of his mind, okay? Not only offensively, defensively, he played phenomenal. Face-offs, ESPN couldn't stop talking about how good face-offs are. It's like they just discovered hockey, and because they did. And they're like, face-offs must be important, right? That's the main thing. Let's keep on nailing down face-offs. Oh, Crosby wins a face-off. You know how important these are? I don't know how many times they talked about face-offs during this broadcast, but that was all they could talk about until literally someone pulled the plug because you couldn't hear audio. And it's like absolutely terrible. The audio was going like in and out for me. Like it was like muffled, and then it would get crystal clear, and then it would go back to muffled a little bit. And I was like, "Oh, is that my TV?"
Yeah, I think that was you.
I don't think so.
I didn't experience that.
Weird. I don't want to hear it. But anyway, it was just weird. I hate ESPN. They're the worst thing that can happen to the NHL. And just the overall crap. Anyway, let's get back to.
I'm going to be patient with them. It's the first year, so
I'm not.
Oh, actually, second year, isn't it?
It's their second year, yeah. So you can't be patient anymore.
Yeah.
They have audio losing out during a game. If that happened on Monday night,
they had a guy literally unplug it.
I know, but if that happened on Monday Night Football, the whole thing, the ESPN would be sold from Disney, and NBC Sports would take over. 100%. They would lose $1 billion in a second. and they would say, that's it. They probably lost like $20 because no one watches hockey on ESPN. And I'll just quickly, I'll say, and I know that for a fact because they were so quick to shut off the game after the Penguins won. They're like, yeah, the Penguins won in a Colorado men's basketball college. Watch it. And I'm just like, if this was Monday Night Football, we'd be watching the post-game interview. We'd watch, oh my gosh, 4 people talk about how, oh, Joe Flacco's really good. He's coming back. Is he the savior of the Browns? And it's like, hockey, they're like, no. They won? Is that everyone? Did the Penguins win? It's a little confusing at the end. Oh, no, it did win? Okay, basketball. That's what really people want to see. College basketball. That's it. So I'm sick and tired of ESPN. They're the worst. I don't want to, two thumbs down, ESPN. 2 thumbs. And if I had another hand, 3 thumbs down. So there's that. Let's get back to Sidney Crosby, Josh.
Yeah,
Sidney Crosby played absolutely phenomenal tonight. And it's just mind baffling. And something that he did tonight that made me literally like a kid again. Okay? Watching the game, it's late in the third, right? We're trying to get into the zone. There's an empty net. Oh my gosh. Puck goes down. It's an icing. Sidney Crosby at 36 years old is like,
not so fast.
Not so fast.
And then
I'm going to be fast.
It.
And then pinned it, and he kept it on his feet. And you're like, he just wasted 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Plus, the hockey IQ of that man is unreal. Because I'll tell you what, people would say, oh, Connor McDavid would go do that. Yeah, but he wouldn't know to pin the puck. He wouldn't do that. He would just get down there. Oh, I lost the puck. Okay, let me go to the bench again. Sidney Crosby was exhausted, skating down, making sure that we kill it, or he gets it and just buries it really quickly. He is flying. 3 points tonight. He is at 30 goals.
22.
22. What did I thinking of? Oh, no. Austin Matthews got to 30 goals. That's a little nugget in my brain. Sorry, not 30 goals. But he's got 22 goals in the season. Still impressive. And absolutely, I don't know. Sidney Crosby, he just baffles me. He is a phenomenal hockey player. We should be lucky to have him. And really quick, Josh, before you give your take, NES said they had NHL most of the 90s, referring to ESPN. Don't care. I don't care if they had him the whole entire time. They suck at it now. All right. Jackson says the Rat lost again. Absolutely. I will say this, though, about the Rat, Brad Marchand. He was on the Pat McAfee show today.
I was going to bring that up.
And I was like, all right, I can't.
He's a pretty cool dude. He's a pretty cool dude.
He's a pretty cool dude. Yeah. Is he a troll? Absolutely. Would I want him on my team? Not really. But he literally said, he's like, I don't mess with the Penguins because they have all-stars on their team. And if they all get mad, it's over for everyone. So yeah. I like, that's pretty cool. Was he saying that because Pat McAfee was wearing a sleeveless Penguins jersey? I don't know. But I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, he's a rat. He literally licks people. But yeah,
it's weird.
He's weird, dude. But all right.
Yeah, and that's a great point because you have to understand that there has to be a level of respect with him because he is a great player. And on top of it, Sidney Crosby prefers to play with him on Team Canada. So you got to think that there's some great skill in him. And I didn't really notice it much, just because obviously we don't pay attention to the Bruins at all unless we play the Penguins. Suck. But then you see that goal tonight, that shorthanded goal. That was a sweet goal. But
bad defense by Chris Letang.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great goal by Brad Marchand. If literally Letang took one hand off the stick and pushed Brad Marchand just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not a penalty. Just, hey, bud, don't do that.
Just knock him off his path. That's it.
Just knock him off his path. No goal.
Yeah.
But he literally just stood there like bumping him.
But, you know, I mean, if I was the Penguins media, and if you have anyone that watches anything, you saw that Brad Marchand went on the Pat McAfee show today.
Yes.
And, you know, obviously the big matchup was tonight, and they were going to dog the Penguins a little bit. They did just a little bit. If I'm the Penguins media, I immediately send someone onto the Pat McAfee show tomorrow.
Yeah. Sidney Crosby.
Right? Like,
can you imagine Pat McAfee going, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah, his intro. Yeah.
All right. Now look, we know we're nothing. We're stooges on podcasts, but this show is heavily influenced by Pat McAfee. Okay, so
I just need a cigar and we're good to go.
Yeah, you're AJ Hawk. But I would love the whole internet would shut down. At least Pat McAfee would, because he has Sidney Crosby. The intro would be 10 minutes long. That it would all the boys would like on that show would love it, because they're all somewhat related like to Pittsburgh and all that. So they know of Sidney Crosby. They recognize the greatness. So that would be a phenomenal podcast. And I would absolutely agree with you, Josh. Send someone over there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Have them on the podcast. You know what? We'll volunteer as tribute. Send us over, guys.
Yeah.
Send us over.
Hey, Pat, send me a DM. Wait.
Yeah.
I can't.
All right.
Get into it.
Let's just say that Josh is blocked by Pat McAfee. Hey, Josh, maybe you don't trash talk the Thunderdome, okay?
I didn't. All I did was like a comment.
You trash the Thunderdome.
You like a comment.
And the hammer, Don, came down on you. All right? And that's what happened. All right, let's get back to the Penguins. All right, I see a lot of stuff going on in the chat here. Yeah. Angry Boot says TPC should make a sleeveless jersey with their logo.
Yeah, let's call Chris. Chris and Taylor. Let's try to get something going here.
Like, this is what Chris makes. Do you want something like this that's sleeveless, like with a hood? Because that'd be sick.
Like a jersey.
Like a jersey.
He's saying like a jersey.
I mean, that'd be sick. Maybe, guys.
TPC diagonal across?
No, Josh. I would do our logo. Our TPC. Like a jersey. Okay. Well, let's do it. Sleeveless and non-sleeveless. Like a normal jersey. I'd do it. If you guys buy them, we'll make them. So. All right. Josh, where were we? Sidney Crosby's greatest. He should go on Pat McAfee show. Yeah. What else should we talk about? It's just like the Pat McAfee show. There is no order. Okay.
We have points, and if we hit them, show's done.
That's right. Hey, did we hit our 4 points of the game? Crosby's GOAT. Doc played well. Man, our defense sucks. Fire Todd Reirden.
Yeah.
And what a let's talk about the game, Josh. Holy cow. Crazy first period. Like Josh was saying, and then we rudely cut him off. The first, as soon as the Boston Bruins scored first, 41 seconds in, I may add.
Yeah.
I honestly I was on my computer ready to type away, ready to give my thoughts. And as soon as that happened, I was like, all right, we're done. You know, like, and the mind started racing because I'm thinking, all right, we're gonna lose this one. That's 2 in a row. What's going on? Like, is the trade? Are trades actually coming? Like, is that something that's really? And then all of a sudden we tied it up, and I was like, oh, okay, that's and then we scored, making it 2-1. But yeah, I see so much. Am I able to share that video? What video?
The one you sent me from that podcast.
Oh, can I?
I don't know. Let's find out. Can you pull it up?
All right. Yeah, Josh, talk about the game.
Okay. So yeah, Louie was saying about first period being crazy, but honestly, like that second period was more impressive to me because because in that second period, that's when I think played our best game. All game. Because we were crisp on the power play, the one that we had that period. We defended the just in general very well. We were in front more. We looked like how we were 2 games ago, not Tuesday, but how we were. I'm blanking on when we played again. Sunday. But that period. We were able to bounce back, prevent them from scoring, and just keep things, tidy, I should say. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? We are now 8-2-1, and then I don't know where do we go from here, because I don't know where the standings are at.
Josh, I'll show you. Okay. I'll show you, Josh.
Please.
I'm getting excited.
But
all right.
But I saw it on ESPN that when they pulled it up, we were still several points away from, being the second slot in the playoffs. So
we are currently 2 points behind the Washington Capitals. We have 40 points currently. Yeah. And then the Capitals at 42, Devils at 42, Flyers at 43. And then Islanders at 44. So and Islanders are currently number 3 in the Metropolitan. So we just need at least 2 of those guys to lose. We win against Sabres, and then all of a sudden, we're magically in the wild card. So let's not get too crazy right now. The Pittsburgh Penguins are in a great spot. It's now the spotlight is on them, though. I think that needs to be very clear. Yes, we have a lot of time left. Yeah, we can kind of split hairs on the how many games are left compared to other people. We could do that all day and speculate and do all that. But what we can really do right now is win games, okay? Because if we win games, we kind of write our own destiny here. So especially against divisional teams. So if we play the Sabres, I mean, that's great. That's 2 points, but we're not taking away 2 points with the Sabres. So our next,
same thing with Boston tonight. That's why the whatchamacallit, the game on Tuesday was so important, because you take 2 away from Washington and you give it to us. But it is what it is. We lost. We're on to Boston. Right. We're able to get the win, and now we need to move on to Buffalo. Which is that Sunday?
Saturday at 2 p.m. at 7 p.m. Excuse me.
Oh, I kind of would like it at 2, but yeah, we'll take it.
I know,
at 7.
me too. You know what? I kind of miss. Yeah, mid game. Yeah, that'd be so nice. Especially now that college games are over, or no? Is there one coming up?
Well, the national championship on Monday.
Nah, who cares? All right. So, what's the most important game? Yeah, who cares? Michigan's gonna win. Everyone's gonna be like, "Yay!" That's it. That's my take on college football. We acknowledged it. We're moving past it. Monday, the 8th, is a very important day. We are playing the Philadelphia Flyers. Is it on Monday?
Yeah.
That's the college national championship?
Yeah.
They decided to do Monday?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
no. We talked about it. We acknowledged it. We moved on.
It's the only Monday that the NFL doesn't have a game.
Yeah, they moved it purposely for it. But
no, it's because that's black what they call Black Monday. That's when all the coaches get fired. It's first day of the if you didn't make the playoffs, it's technically the first day of the offseason.
Okay. Monday the 8th is super important for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We are facing a divisional team, one who is doing better than us currently, the Philadelphia Flyers in Philly. We need to win that game. Okay?
Yeah.
Because after that, our next divisional game is the following Saturday against the Carolina Hurricanes away. All right? And most likely that's going to be a big old loss. All right? From it's a big old loss. So we need to focus on divisional games moving forward.
Yeah, Louie, there was something I forgot to bring up earlier when you were talking about Sidney Crosby and being the GOAT.
What's that, Josh?
Did you see what came out tonight? The All-Star roster.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sidney Crosby
scrambling.
Sidney Crosby is representing the Pittsburgh Penguins at the All-Star game. So it seems like they change it every year, so I'm not familiar with what goes down, but it appears that one player from each team goes, and then the remaining roster is filled up by fan votes. Yeah. So as fans, we need to get out there and start putting guys like Gensel, Malkin.
But no. The fans, Crosby. Let's rewind for a second. Gensel's not even there.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like the rest of the roster, the rest of the All-Star roster gets filled by fan votes.
I thought they already picked those guys, and then you have to vote them in. You know, like they pick a handful of people.
That's 30. Oh yeah, because that's.
So they pick
but
a
that's
handful.
Only 16. That's 16 players on each team.
So I don't know.
That's not enough.
No, I know. I'm saying the NHL picks the other people. Okay? And then you, as fans, vote the people that they pick to go in. Like Crosby's already in. He's done.
Yeah.
Then they go, what about Jake Gensel, which I don't think he's a part of it, but Jake Gensel, I'm trying to think of people, and Sebastian Aho and Zibanejad, okay? We're putting up these three people. There's only 2 slots. You guys vote to these 3 players. Out of these 3, what 2 are going into the roster? I thought that's what they do.
So we can't just say, I want to vote Malkin. And if 10 million other fans say Malkin, I don't think
so.
Then Malkin gets in.
Maybe is that the chat? Is that correct? The only reason why we're asking is because they change it every other year.
I know.
What happened when they were like, "Hey, everyone got together. We decided Chad Ruhwedel's going to the All-Star game."
Yeah.
You know, as all Pens fans were like, vote Chad Ruhwedel. He's going to the All-Star. Angry Boot. Thanks, bud. No clue.
32 players named, 12 more to be selected via online process through January 11th.
So we need to vote in 7 days? We have a week?
Yeah.
To vote in people? All right, guys, here's what we're going to do.
Eight skaters, 4 goalies in the fan vote presented by MassMutual. They can vote at nhl.com/vote, Twitter, and the NHL app.
All right, guys. All right, here's who's Josh. Who are we voting in?
I don't know. Wait, but then there's going to be a player draft.
That makes no sense.
So
why would you already automatic? Oh wait, no, for the teams. For the teams.
They're copying the NBA. They're copying the NBA because that's what the NBA does. They assign 2 they're gonna assign 2 captains, and then those 2 captains have a draft
So
based off
they
of.
no matter what division or within that division,
I don't think it will matter.
Because we could potentially see a team with Connor McDavid and Sidney Crosby
100%.
and Connor Bedard and Austin Matthews. Imagine.
Not gonna lie, that would be pretty dope.
That'd be really great. Angry Boot, don't worry. We're all confused right now. We're talking about All-Star Game. Reason why is because Sidney Crosby was automatically selected for the Pittsburgh Penguins because he's the greatest player of all time. And it's his 10th All-Star appearance. Yay.
Yeah. All right, I figured it out.
What'd you figure out?
It looks like you can literally pick anyone you want.
All right, guys, here's the job. Now we got to pick someone. All right, I want to pick.
Well, wait, hold on. Let's do this next episode.
Okay, well, next episode we're already a couple days behind.
No, we have until the 11th.
All right, but Josh, we already have people here. We could. Oh my gosh, Jackson, you're absolutely right. Big old Jeff Carter. Let's send him with Sidney Crosby to the All-Star Game. How awesome would that be? Him walking up with 6 packs of Bud Light, just smoking darts like Josh in front of the TV today, going, "Where do you need me, Sid? Where do you need me?" I love how that's like the picture we got of Jeff Carter, and he doesn't do either of those things.
No.
But it's hilarious. All right. Angry Boot is weaponizing his family to vote for Jeff Carter to go to the All-Star Game with Sidney Crosby. That would be awesome. I honestly would love that.
Yeah. That would be pretty sick. I'd be cool with any other Penguin. But yeah, let's get
Let's get Jeff Carter. Hashtag Jeff Carter to All-Star Game. Let's get that trending. Let's get everyone under the same, let's get a cause going here. Jeff Carter to All-Star Game. We got to get that trending right now because he deserves that. For all the hate that we've put him through for the last 3 years of his life, we could do one great thing. And that's send Jeff Carter to the All-Star Game. There you go. Anger Boot. Hashtag Jeff Carter for All-Stars. Yeah, I like that. That's the hashtag, right? Are we going to use that? Hey, Jackson, in the chat, do your thing, man. Clip what I just said. Hashtag Jeff Carter for All-Stars. All right? We'll retweet it. We'll get people we know to retweet it. Maybe we'll message a certain play-by-play announcer and say, hey, casually mention this to the masses next game, where he's like, hey, guys, we're sending Jeff Carter to the All-Star Game.
And then as a show, we'll submit one ballot on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll just go and do it as many times as we can.
Yeah, well, only one time.
Create different emails and send Jeff Carter to the All-Star Game. All right. Thank you. Jackson is so quick with the clipping. I absolutely love it.
I think he watches us on his phone, so it makes it even quicker.
Is that true? Probably.
I would imagine.
I love it. Yeah. We weaponize we weaponize Jackson all the time.
Weaponize.
We do. With the whole Josh gets off, like he did it in like 5 seconds. It was like done.
He really did.
Josh gets off. And he responded. He got back to us.
Yeah.
I like how we pretend like we're buddies with Josh.
That's what I mean.
Like we get like beers with him and you know what I'm saying? Like we just go ahead and do that. Like we're that close. But he is a friend of the show. He's been on twice. So make sure you guys go back and watch.
He's our third most reoccurring guest. Go ahead.
That's true.
Yep.
Chris.
Yep.
Taylor. Josh.
And Josh.
Yeah. And then Hunter Hodes. He's been on.
Yeah. Then we got a tie for one with like I think 4 guys.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. And Jay will be a guest one day. That's right. We talked about that. Talked about NES Addict coming on.
Let's make it happen.
But yeah, Josh, we're all over the place today, and I don't care. You know why? Because it's our show. We can do whatever we want.
And it's Thursday, but I'm also a little bummed because I thought it was Friday. So
ooh, rough.
It is what it is. So now I gotta wake up early one more day.
Yeah, I get that. But hey, where's the guy in the chat? Hey, Angry Boot, you might want to turn off the stream. Okay, you might want to turn off the stream. We got some juicy rumors.
You want to do it today?
Josh, let's just transition into it.
Right,
only because it's all over the place, okay? We
pioneered this.
We did. I will say we saw something, and I would say we were one of the first to say, are we trading Jake Gensel?
Here we go, Angry Boot.
Gensel to Edmonton for Connor McDavid, 1-for-1. Are we sending Jake Gensel to the Chicago Blackhawks for Connor Bedard, 1-for-1? Oh, guys, we made it as a podcast. We got our first bot in the chat. Let's go. Hey, guys, we're the best. Oh, that makes me so happy. You have no idea. For those listening on the audio and the podcast, on the Spotify and the Apple podcast, I'm sorry. All I can say is join us when we go live. It's way more fun. We just got an ad in our live stream, dude. We made it as a podcast. Y'all mod quick because I never saw it. We don't mod. Oh, is it on Twitch?
It's Twitch. If they're not seeing it, then it's on Twitch.
It's on. Oh, you're right. It is on Twitch. You guys can't see it, but we see all the chats. Wow. Yes, yeah. We made it, Josh. We made it as a as a stream. Right.
Well, the only thing we're missing is one is like the OF girls that will pop up and like spam chats with their links.
That's right. With their links, like come check us out. Yeah. Absolutely.
Then we made it.
I thought you were referring to Twitch and their whole decision to allow like artistic nudity and stuff. And I was like, whoa,
yeah, I don't want to get into that.
We're not taking off our shirts, Josh. Even though if that's what it takes to get views. Just kidding. We're not doing that. But anyway, Angry Boot is not going to be happy in the chat. Maybe some of you aren't going to be happy listening to this on your morning commute to work.
I'm not happy about it.
I'm not happy about it. But I am happy that we are a pioneer in this, okay? Are we spewing misinformation? Probably. All right. Are we bad at our jobs? Yeah, we are. But I will say we're one of the first to say Jake Gensel is out of here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Why are we trading him? I'll tell you why.
If he doesn't resign.
That's our honest opinion. Is if our honest opinion is if he's not willing to resign, okay? Get him out of here. Like honestly. Because it's not fair to him. It's not fair to us. Just get him out of here. It would be no hard feelings. I don't hate you, Angry Boot. I am just a man of the people. Okay? I am the man of the people. I'm here to report the news. Jackson, comes in and says there's no way he walks. Okay, let's break it down real quick. Okay, let's break this down. Okay, Jake Guentzel, Kyle Dubas. Kyle Dubas is the Pahogum. All right? And if you
President of
don't know what
Hockey
that
Operations,
means,
General Manager.
there you go. Jake Guentzel has an agent that represents him. Okay, we all know this. He is not walking to Kyle Dubas' office, knocking on the door saying, "Where's the money? Show me the money." And Kyle Dubas goes, "You had me at hello." That doesn't happen, okay? What really happens is that the agent and the Pahogum will talk and go, "Hey, we talking? Are we meeting this week? Because we want to talk." And then they talk numbers, they talk years. Yeah, my client likes that. Let's proceed with that. Show me the contract. We'll have lawyers look through it. Yeah, we'll do
Most
it.
of them are lawyers.
Most of them are. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is there's a process to it. It's not like in the movies where they're like, it's as simple as like, who you picking? Like there's more to it than that. If you ever seen Draft Day, there's more to it than just that.
That's what it boils down to.
Yes, it boils down to that, but it's not how they interact. Okay, so let's get back to it, Josh. Stop distracting me.
Sorry.
All right. Neither side, agent nor Pahogum, have had conversations about contract extensions. Okay? Now, this is very concerning. 2 reasons why. Concerning number 1, Kyle Dubas is stalling to see how he is playing, to also see where the team is at the trade deadline. That's concerning because he's willing to trade away him for the future. Okay? That's 1. 2, Jake Guentzel is waiting to see where the team is at the trade deadline to say, do I want to be here if we're not going for cups? Okay? Also, he probably knows if he is producing that he gets more money. So he's probably waiting so he could become the scoring leader of the Penguins, and then he asks for a lot of money, minimum $8 million a year. Okay? Now, is it going to be for long? I don't know. We couldn't speculate on that. That is the current state of the Jake Guentzel and the Kyle Dubas drama that we have right now for the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's the only drama we have, okay?
Yeah, and just real quick.
Yes.
We're bringing this up more and more because it's being brought up by other outlets more and more. So like that's why Louie was like half kidding around by saying like we pioneered this. Yes, we talked about this a couple weeks ago when it first came out that there were no communication yet. And now every platform, every outlet that covers Penguins or just hockey is discussing this. And Angry Boot, I wish that was true.
What?
As much as we joke around and say that other members of the media are listening to our podcast, I doubt they're
not
listening to us. But yeah, it's just a hard conversation that is possibly becoming a reality, and that's the most frustrating and concerning thing with all of this. So I don't know if Louie has it queued up, but there it is.
Look at this. All right.
There's a podcast out there. What is it again?
It's Empty Netters.
Empty
Okay.
Netters
It's
podcast.
part of the Friday Beers podcast. Or network, I guess. They're strictly hockey. They're not Penguins or they're not a specific team. They report. They have a really good take on what the situations could be. So let's take a look at it. Angry Boot, watch it, and then we'll discuss it. Okay, we'll react to it. Are we doing a live reaction? We're like real YouTubers, Josh.
Oh, wow. Look at us go.
Look at us. We got a bot. We're live reacting.
Now let's see if it actually works, though.
0.87 million in cap space. They've given up 93 goals this year, which is the 4th fewest goals in the league, behind the Kings, the Jets, and the Bruins. They have scored 107 goals, which is 24th in the league.
Not good.
Bad.
Not good.
Gensel,
Power play, disaster.
Gensel, Sid, disgusting, over point per game. Malkin just behind point per game, but he's playing great. This team needs goals. They do not need D. They do not need goaltending. It's there already. The plus minus is there. They just need more offensive firepower, and they have a certain GM who is not afraid at all to make a fucking move with the season on the line. That 2.87 million and someone is going out the fucking door in the next 8 weeks for a monster right wing on Sidney Crosby's line.
I love this take.
Monster right wing.
But I've got a rebuttal for you. I think you are living in a world where they're in the playoff hunt.
They
and
are.
I want you to live in a world where they're not.
They are, though.
Yeah.
They are.
Let's say that. Because they're currently in 7th place.
They're 4 points out.
Yeah, but they're in
Black and
7th
white
place.
hat is
Yep.
right.
Lots of games in hand here. But let's not forget that. I think the numbers that you've brought up, goals for, goals against, are very important. Because like you do think that the tides will turn there. Water has to find its level. But let's say this bad luck, these bad breaks keep happening. The trade deadline arrives, and looking at it logistically, they are like, we are not making playoffs. I still think this is going to happen, but I think it's going to be by 2 huge players.
They're going the other way.
I'm talking Gensel. I'm talking Malkin.
Whoa.
Pittsburgh Penguins just talked about it.
Whoa.
Ugh.
Whoa. Did you hear that, Anger Boot? Not only do people think that we're trading Gensel, but now we're trading away Evgeny Malkin. All right? Now, they are just saying we're going to say goodbye to these big names because they're going to be sellers at the trade deadline rather than buyers, right? So that's usually what it comes down to, 50%, 50%. Are you a buyer or a seller at the trade deadline? And right now, we are in a very, very sensitive spot because we are in 7th. Now, they were correct. They said we're 4 points out. Well, now we are 2 points out. So if we win against a divisional team and the divisional team loses, we could technically be in the 4th or 5th. Okay. Now, does that change what we're going to do at the trade deadline? 100%. Okay. So it could be a literal 3-game factor that makes a decision whether we're buying or selling. Now, even if we don't make the playoffs, Josh, I don't believe we would be sellers. I don't think we'd be sellers. I think it would just be trading the bottom 6 out, the ones that aren't working, like Graves, like Chatteruidel or P.O. Joseph, because he hasn't been playing well. They would trade someone like that and get back something to kind of resolve something, to test the waters. We are not going to trade Evgeny Malkin at the end. I don't know. I just think that's a tough take. We wanted to show you that because, like we said, we're not the only ones talking about this. This is a real topic in the hockey world that Jake Gensel could potentially be on the move. And if so, who are we getting for Jake Gensel? Who are we getting for him? And is it only Jake, or are we pairing someone? Are we doing that to get a monster winger like these guys said? Because Sid's getting a little slower. Not tonight. He was flying. But who are we going to have to be the future of the team? We don't have that right now. We thought it would be Jake Gensel and Rust, but they're also like 3 years behind Crosby. You know, they're Jake Gensel's 30 years old. You know?
Yeah, the only thing that I liked that video, and that's why I'm glad you were able to share it. But like, just showing that there are other people out there talking about it, and that, you know, it is a possibility of this happening because he's in the last year of his contract. He's an elite goal scorer. He has the potential to be the number 1 guy on a lot of teams out there. But like, the only thing I don't like is that they weren't willing to put a name to the monster scorer. Who could you put there?
Who's the return?
Exactly. Like, even if they just, like, we jokingly say McKinnon, like, but like, if they were to legitimately put someone there, because they know more of the rest of the NHL than we do. We're very Penguins focused. Like, I don't know who's available on the market out there. I'm not paying attention to that type of stuff as of right now. I will later. But they know who's out there, who's on expiring contracts. So, like, they would know, like, who's technically trade bait, who's available on certain teams, who would be a monster that would be a good addition to the Penguins. So, like, that's the only thing I
have an idea
care for. But
I have a little spark in the brain. Is Jake Guentzel going to the Columbus Blue Jackets for Johnny Hockey?
No, don't like that one bit.
Why not? He needs a new scene. He could be a dominating factor on the Penguins. He could. He's old too. Johnny Hockey's a little old.
I think they're probably about the same age.
Yeah.
But
he's a little old.
Yeah. And there was something that I looked up after last episode, because we were talking about Ryan Graves, trading Ryan Graves. He's got a no movement clause in his contract.
We signed him for 3 years, no movement clause.
Oh, and that's it too. We didn't sign him for 3 years.
How long do we have? 5.
Double that. 6 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
The dude got the bag and decided, I'm done. I'm not playing. I'll ride the 6 years out and I'll retire.
let me pull this up.
Oh my God. I thought we signed him for 3 years. Now, as a Penguins podcast, we should know that. But 6 years.
6 years, 4.5 annual with a 12-team no movement clause.
Okay, so there's a chance.
Sure.
There's a chance we could approach him and say, dude, you suck. The one of those 12 teams, you want to go there? Because we can make that happen. I don't know. This is the scary thing, and I'm sure Kyle Dubas is like, this is not what I wanted to do my first year. Is be buyers or sellers. Yeah, like he wanted to see it work. Now, once again, we are 4 points from a great spot in the wild card. Okay, we're halfway through the season. All right.
Yeah,
we're halfway through the season. If we are on a trajectory of being good, we're not doing anything at the trade deadline.
And still have 2 months
until the trade deadline.
Trade deadline? Like all of January, all of February, and it's like the first week of March.
Yeah.
So it's like 60 days. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because Kyle Dubas's thing in Toronto, was that everything he wanted to do was shot down. So he's a loose cannon. I'm not saying in a bad way. I'm just saying this is the first time we're going to see Kyle Dubas in any part have full reign on what he wants to do. Okay? Will it be scary? Will it be great? Will he pull off a miracle, as NES says in the chat? Will he do that? I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not rooting for him, but I'm also like, I'm in a tough spot. Anger Boot, I know it's past your bedtime, and it's also, we're talking anti-Jake right now.
It's past my bedtime too.
Yeah, we're wrapping up soon. But we're going to have a more in-depth episode about who could we trade for Jake Guentzel. And that'll come closer to the trade deadline.
Wait. Who is available for trade? We're not tying everything to Jake Guentzel, because I promise you, as we get closer, they're going to talk. So I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised.
they could have already talked, and it just hasn't come out yet.
Yeah. So
you know what I'm saying?
I'm not. I promise you, Angry Boot and anyone else who is an avid Jake Gensel fan, we're not going to just focus on
McTavish
that
is not bad.
as we get closer to the trade deadline. If it comes out that he is not going to resign, then sure, we will do Jake Gensel packages. But if that does not come out, I am not doing it.
All right,
Promise
that's fair.
that. Because I also want him to resign, and I want to cheer for him. So I don't want to have a bad taste in my mouth every time.
I don't think we're rooting for Jake Gensel to be traded.
We're not. But all I'm saying is when you start putting like packages like that, you're more okay watching him leave. You're more okay, without him on the team. So then when he is on the team, you're like, well, we could have got so and so for him. You know what I mean? You start playing that game of what could have been. So I'm not going to do that yet. Not going to do that yet.
All right, we won't do an episode like that unless we know for a fact they haven't talked about contract negotiations a week before the trade deadline.
Yeah, but I'm still down to do a trade deadline episode to see who's out there and
like that. Yeah. Now, Jackson put in the chat someone honestly young could be a McTavish is not bad.
You've mentioned him off air.
I haven't mentioned him off air.
Yeah.
Because McTavish would be the future of the Penguins. Jared McCann, I would love to do that too. I saw someone a part of the TPHN. Nope. The THPN. Yeah. I don't know why I was saying it.
You just said it
wrong.
Right 3 different times.
No. So somebody on the Seattle Kraken podcast was saying, would the Penguins be interested in getting back Tanev? And
just him?
Well, no, I don't think they meant for Jake Gensel, but they were just saying would they be up to trading for him? And I mean, I don't know. Because we need a guy like that. Who's fast, who's physical. Oh my gosh, Jackson. That's not a bad idea. McTavish and Jaeger. Dude.
Didn't he just get suspended though?
Yeah, that was Zucker. Zucker just got
suspended. Thank you.
But an ex-Penguin. Jared McCann, he is playing out of anger. Okay?
So Jared McCann, I saw 2 comments asking about contract. Jared McCann has 3 years left after this season. So he counting 4. This season, he's got 4 years with $5 million per season.
And he wouldn't want to come to the Penguins. The Penguins screwed him over, and he's not coming back.
Tanev has 2 years, including this year. So 1 year after this year.
We would have to trade for those guys. That's not we'll pick them up, or that's easy. Sure. It wouldn't be like a Riley Smith deal where we're like, we'll just send a draft pick and we'll get them. It's no, we'd lose someone. We'd lose someone for that. Now, McTavish, just to say this, and then we can kind of wrap up. We kind of really didn't do tonight's game justice, Josh. I kind of realized that it was a crazy game, and we didn't really talk about it that much. But you know what? I'm okay with it. McTavish from the Anaheim Ducks. That's not bad.
The only thing that I'm afraid of with someone like that, because he's so young, if he does have a turnaround season, and then when it's time to negotiate a contract with him, it's going to be stupid money again. Not even stupid money, because Gensel's going to want a lot, but he's not going to want Nylander money. But like I think if we get someone young enough when their contract is up, they're going to want Nylander money. And then we're going to be in a worse situation than we're currently in. So that's why, like, ideally it's going to suck whatever amount that Jake Guentzel wants. But a part of me just says give it to him because, like, it's going to be cheaper than what you can
the
get.
Alternative.
Than the alternative. Exactly. And if you still want to keep the core together for the remainder of their contracts, which is 4 years, you're going to need that cap space.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. So I'm just, it's obviously the Pogogum got a lot of work ahead of him. All right. But we got to remember, it's not in Kyle Dubas's hands right now. It's in the Penguins. It's in the team. Because here, I'll bring it back to tonight's game, Josh.
It's good.
Do you like that?
It's good.
Because it all depends on where the Penguins are come trade deadline time. If we're like 2 or 3 in the Metropolitan, Jake Guentzel's getting a pretty penny. Okay? If we're not there, Jake Guentzel's gone. Whether by his choice or by forcefully trading. So I don't think Jake Guentzel wants to go. I think he wants to be here. But he also, it's a business. He wants money. You know, this is his livelihood. He's going to want money for it. He doesn't want to, like, if I personally got drafted by the Pittsburgh Penguins, I would want to be there. I would take a hometown discount. I would do whatever it takes because I want to be a Pittsburgh Penguin. Jake Guentzel doesn't have that tie.
Well, he
you
does.
Know?
He's been a Penguins product.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is, like, I have an emotional tie to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I see.
Like, he just plays for them. You know? Like, yes, he has history with them. But, like, dude, I cried when we won the Stanley Cup. You know? Like, if I got to play on that team, you better believe I'm taking, like, league minimum to stay there for, like, 10 years. You know? Like, because it's not about the money for me. For him, it's about the money. Like, he loves the Penguins. Don't get me wrong.
Do we know that? Do we know that?
Well, that's every hockey player.
Absolutely, it's every hockey player. But look at the core. They have always taken below market value. Always.
But there's a reason for that. Why did they do that? Not because they love the Pittsburgh Penguins so much.
But they love playing with each other. But you don't think Guentzel loves playing?
I think you're missing the point. They love winning Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
So they're willing to take a hometown discount so that way the GM could go and get other assets to bring them to Pittsburgh. If they had the choice.
My point is Guentzel just watched Malkin, Letang go through that.
That's it. Yeah.
And if he's willing to, take a little bit less to play with the greatest hockey player of all time.
Yeah.
Why not? He could literally he could pass Malkin as like the greatest number 2.
Hey, I agree with you. I would love to see that. But if that was the case, they'd already be talking numbers.
I know.
So it's easy to say. Obviously, we don't know what's going on. Jake could probably be like, "Oh, I'm focused on hockey right now. Like, I'm not really worried about that." Like, that could be the answer.
Yeah.
Like, Jake is just like, "I'm just worrying about hockey." Like,
that's exactly what happened with Rust.
Yeah, like there was
Rust, no conversation, and then they re-signed him in the offseason.
Yeah, and that could be the case as well. But like with Jackson's comment in the chat saying Jake loves playing on the Crosby line, so taking a lower deal is possible. If that's the case, it would already be done, or at least they'd be talking.
I don't agree with that. I don't know. I don't agree.
They'd be talking.
I think.
Go ahead.
I wouldn't be surprised because the thing is, you also have to ask the question: how did the information of no communication has taken place? Why did that come out, and how did it come out? I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of the parties, whether it's the Penguins or Jake Gensel's camp, putting that out there in hopes that the other side will initiate, because that now is out there. Because you don't want it to be like, you know what I mean? You don't want it to be any type of bad press. So you see it all the time. That's how literally media survives. Media survives because people are like, the people involved are putting stuff out there.
Or did his camp do that to see if there's any teams interested?
Oh, if there's no teams interested, then.
No, I know, but to see like, oh, to do this, to get the media talking and to see if because you see it all the time. There will be teams that have no interest in trading for people, but then their fans outcry and say, hey, we really want that. Like Carlson is a great example for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Remember when there was a possibility of the Penguins getting Carlson? Mm-hmm. We freaked out. Oh, could we get Carlson? Is that the case? How is that going to look? Well, how much money are we going to do it? And it was just nonstop talk. And then what did we find out from Kyle Dubas? He goes, oh, yeah, there was like, we gave them an offer and then we realized. Yeah. But it wasn't like we are purposely going after it. They were like, oh, we'll just throw it out there. That's what I think they're doing with Jake Guentzel. But once again, it's all in the hands of the Pittsburgh Penguins right now. All right. They just played a great game against a team on the eastern side of everything.
Best team.
Yeah, the best team right now. And we won a crazy game. It took a lot to win this game tonight. All right. The Penguins have a lot of work to do. The Penguins have a lot of work to do before we could even talk about seriously trading away anybody. All right, like even like Jake Gens, like we could trade what is it called? We could trade Graves all we want, but that's not going to happen until we find out where we're going to be by the trade deadline. So Kyle Dubas is probably just sitting down right now, hoping the Penguins get better.
I think he's already happy. I think not like.
I wouldn't say that.
No. Okay. So I think he's already pleased with the turnaround, because again, we're 8-2-1 in the last 11. So.
But that's not successful. So he's not happy.
I understand that. But he also I think he's looking at it as, okay, if we're at the halfway mark and this is where we're at, 2 points out of the wild card, 4 from being just like in the division, like, you know what I mean? Like the top half of the division, then yeah, that's fine. I'll take that, because I know I got Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang, Jake Guentzel. I got those guys on my team. In the way that Nedeljkovic and Jari has been playing in net, minus these last 2 games, they have been holding us in there. So we'll see.
We'll see. And guys, all this that we're talking about, all this to say that we don't want to see Jake Guentzel gone. We just want to see the Penguins win. Okay? That's all we ever care about. All right? That's literally the whole thing. So, yeah, we can give into the whole media stuff about Jake Guentzel. We can give the whole media stuff about everything. But we have other things to worry about right now. We got other things to worry about. So, let's win some games. Let's focus on that. And let's just get back on track. The Penguins in the third period today, I'll bring it back to this game because we were all over the place. Third period started and they just weren't the same team they were in the second or the first. The Penguins need to wake up and get more consistent. It's not about playing bad. It's not about doing that. It's about being consistent. How can we be consistent in all 3 periods? We were not consistent. Something's got to change with that. We got to put ourselves in a good spot, and it is up to us before we could do anything. Saturday is an important game. Even though it's against Buffalo, we still need those 2 points. Because what's in a world, those 3 teams ahead of us, what if they all lose? Right? Let's just throw that scenario out there. What if all 3 of those teams lose and we win against Buffalo? We're automatically in 4th.
In the Metro. Yeah.
In the Metropolitan. Now it's a different conversation. Now it's like, oh, okay, so we just got to kind of be more consistent, right? And then we win. So we just need to focus on the next game and get the W's. That's all we need to do. And we will be there for it. Even though, is this one of our best episodes? No, Josh, it's not. But we're going to be consistent.
It's not the worst either. Just saying.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst. We got a bot. We did some things. We're a podcast. But guys, Josh, do you have anything before we kind of wrap up?
No, I mean that's it for tonight.
I know we were all over the place.
I'm excited that we're able to get the win against Boston, just to, kind of showcase a little bit this new Penguins that has turned the corner at this point in the season. Sorry. Past my bedtime too. But, it was a good test for us because Boston is, again, unfortunately, playing like one of the best, if not the best, in the NHL, which I thought for sure they were going to take a step back. But we came in, hostile environment, played well, and we came out with the win. We couldn't be happier.
Yep. I mean, I could be happier. We could win more. We could be better.
Sure.
I don't want to be having a heart attack every single game. Yeah, that's all. So, NES says Washington, Jersey, Tampa, and Philly all need losing streaks. Yep. So we're going on a winning streak. They go on losing streak. We're in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's a successful year. We signed Jake Gensel. Then next year, Stanley Cup. Can you guys do me a favor and stay focused from now on? I kid. Love it all. Keep up the great work. Yeah, I mean, dude, we'll try we'll try. I mean, I can't promise anything.
We just need to get better rest. That's all.
It's really, really, I'm tired. So with that being said, let's call this an episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this podcast. We go live after every single game on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Make sure you guys are there. We love to see you guys here interacting in the chat. It's awesome. Make sure you're there. And if you don't catch us, you could find us on audio. You could find us on Spotify, Apple, you name it. Wherever you find your favorite podcasts, we are there. Josh, is there anything I'm missing on housekeeping? No ads today. No ads.
No.
No ads.
Nope. I think that's it.
That's it. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys on Saturday against the Buffalo Sabres. And Josh, as always,
let's go Pens.